What have you lived for so passionately?
Welcome. This is Bookspresso. I will brew you one rich story. After the story ends, I will ask you the same question again. Please share your stories in the comments. This is Nikos Kazantzakis' novel, Zorba the Greek. He looked at the world with eyes that seemed to have let go of everything. His name was I, a 35-year-old intellectual. Since he was young, he had lived with a book in one hand and a pen in the other. Delving into the abyss of knowledge, he was engrossed in observing and recording everything in the world. His life was a library itself, stacked with layer upon layer of words. People called him a noble intellectual, but his inner world was always empty. Am I really living life to the fullest? His mind was filled with all sorts of ideas and philosophies, but his heart was incredibly cold. His life had no passion or joy. Only loneliness and anxiety weighed him down. Then one day, he was sitting at his desk, reading what he had written, when he suddenly realized,
I haven't moved an inch from this desk.
yet all the knowledge that had supported
Him, until then, suddenly felt meaningless. He closed the book and
he decided to leave for a Greek island he had harbored in his heart for a very long time. There was a lignite mine there, and he intended to make it his place of life. He believed that it was the only way he could live a true life. On his way to the harbor, he met an old man. The old man, called a Cretan, had an odd look in his eyes, wearing a worn coat and boots. He had a free-spirited and uninhibited way of speaking.
a wrinkled face that seemed to have gone.
Through all the hardships of the world, his eyes were like a blazing fire. His name was Alexis.
Zorba. He called I a human, and confidently
Said he could do anything. Another self within me whispered, "This is the one. This person will lead me." I offered to work with Zorba. He readily accepted, and the two of them headed to Crete. Upon arriving in Crete, I began working at the lignite mine with Zorba. It was a place where my knowledge and reason were powerless. Labor was the only language that was understood there. Zorba laughed as he watched me. "Master, there's too much in your head when your heart is empty." His words seemed to pierce my heart. Zorba didn't call labor labor. To him, labor was like a dance that proved he was alive. He sang all day long and danced endlessly. At night, I would fall asleep listening to Zorba's stories. He had wandered his whole life, loved countless women, experienced war, and enjoyed all sorts of adventures. His life was like a great epic. He said, "Master, life is something you have to taste raw. You have to eat, drink, and dance with women." Every word of Zorba's melted my hardened heart little by little. I learned the essence of life from him, that life isn't understood with the head, but is felt with the whole body. While with Zorba, I discovered the beauty of the world for the first time. Watching the magnificent sunset and eating freshly caught grilled fish, I was sharing a real life with him. Then one day, Zorba asked me, "Master, do you believe in hell?" I was lost in thought for a moment. Hell? I don't believe in the existence of God, so of course I don't believe in hell. Zorba nodded and asked again, "Then do you believe in heaven?"
I confidently replied, I don't believe in heaven either. Zorba didn't react to my answer. I asked him again, Zorba, do you believe in hell?
Zorba smiled broadly at my question and replied, "What's so special about hell? What gnaws at our souls while we are alive is hell. But you, Master, are creating this hell yourself." His words were like a huge rock falling on my heart. Only then did I realize that I had been trapped in the prison of ideas that I had created. That night, I couldn't sleep. I wanted to feel life with my whole body. Just like Zorba, I no longer wanted to be trapped in books. I asked Zorba to teach me how to be a true human being. Zorba smiled and said, "Master, you still have a long way to go. A true human being doesn't think with their head, but moves with their heart. Dance, sing, and love. That's what life is all about." Just as I was getting used to life on Crete, I met a widow there. She was beautiful, but lived a lonely life. The villagers called her a witch and pointed fingers at her. I felt a strange sadness from her. I slowly opened my heart to her, and she too accepted my sincerity. I learned the emotion of love from her, a feeling that could not be explained by knowledge, a feeling that made my heart feel like it would burst. Every night we confirmed our feelings for each other, but their love did not last long, because the jealousy and anger of the villagers turned toward her. I wanted to stop them, but I was powerless against their immense hatred. In the end, she was stoned to death by the villagers. I couldn't do anything at that moment. All I could do was watch her die with my own eyes. I despaired. Helplessness and anger enveloped my whole body. Just then, Zorba came to me. He poured warm alcohol over my tightly sealed lips. "Master, you have to forget your sadness for a while."
If you are trapped in sadness, you won't be able to do anything. I couldn't understand his words. While I was lost in sadness, Zorba began to dance. His dance was like a stormy sea. It was violent,
Uninhibited and sad, Zorba shouted as he danced,
"Master, don't cry. Vomit all this sadness through your dance."
"This dance is our life." Watching his dance, I shed tears. They were tears of sadness, but at the same time, they were tears of joy for feeling alive. Through his dance, I learned how to overcome sadness, that life is where sadness and joy coexist, and we must accept all of it with our whole body. Now, I decided to leave Greece with Zorba. I was no longer an intellectual trapped in books. I had become a person who experienced everything in life. With his whole body, the last lesson Zorba gave me was, "Freedom, Master, we are parting ways now. But remember, we will meet again someday. Free spirits are always destined to meet again." Zorba danced one last time and bid me farewell. His eyes were still like a blazing fire. I said to him, "Zorba, you taught me the meaning of life. I am truly grateful." His eyes were as calm as the deep sea. Watching Zorba's last dance,
I realized how beautiful his life was. He had lived his whole life as it was, and every drop of sweat he shed proved his life. We hugged each other,
and I felt the warmth of life from him. I was no longer a lonely intellectual. Through the master named Zorba, I'd completely changed my life. Zorba took my hand one last time and said, "Master, throw everything away and leave."
and start over like a fool who knows nothing.
That is what life is all about. Through the character of Zorba, Nikos Kazantzakis talks about the essence of life to modern people trapped in ideas, that we try to understand the world with our heads. But what's really important is life itself, felt with our whole body. Zorba's life was full of instinct and passion, not reason. He expressed his life through dance and song, and that life was more beautiful and abundant than anyone else's. Zorba the Greek asks us, are you living a real life at this very moment? It tells us to close the book, put down the pen, and feel the beauty of life with our whole body. After reading this book, we will think about the direction of our lives once again. What have you lived for so passionately? This has been Bookspresso. Thank you.